All right, another almost video or a failure video. This is the guts out of a 120 mile per hour, I think Evo, not sure. Touring, same size dial speedometer. And I tried to swap it in, or at least take the guts out, and I was going to remove this trip function to restore my 80 mile per hour Nippon, Japanese, not that great quality speedometer that came with the bike. Issue is most of these components are exactly the same, but in the old one, everything's actually just sunk in. This has little C-clips and little bearing cups, which actually makes it very easy to remove. The shaft screws are actually the same thread, so you can put the thicker shaft on or the thinner, whatever you want to do, whatever you think looks better. Problem is the way it's drilled and the cases are exactly the same. The bodies of this are exactly the same. Issue number one, why you couldn't just do a straight up swap. Well, one, the dial is set for 120, so it's not going to be calibrated correctly for the 80. Secondly, although I don't know if based on the way it's geared and whatnot, it would figure it out, because it is all 2-to-1, so it should, I guess, relatively work in that respect. Problem with swapping the tripper in is the other one has just a singular drilled hole, much skinnier than that. And on the other side, there's a piece of plastic that got broken out that holds in the other side, whereas this one, again, has a bearing cup and C-clip. This works very well. All the parts come out pretty easily. I thought about drilling out the other one and getting these bearing cups in. But the other thing that I noticed is different is, although the gears in there, see the little tiny gears, look the same, the trip gears themselves are a different size. Like this wheel is noticeably different than the other. So just thinking bicycle-wise, that's going to make it spin faster or slower, which means your trip data is going to be incorrect. So bit of work to get this out. Oh, and on top of that, this thread on the actual unit is different than the one. This is a coarse thread, whereas it's a fine thread on the I guess 84 and back. So you could then get, I guess, another speedometer cable for an 84, or a later one to make it work with this. But actually, that's one of my least favorite parts, is feeding the speedometer cable and getting it hooked up to the mechanism. So just not a good match. You could try swapping the faces, or or you could put this in that and it would probably read. You can't swap the faces, obviously, because this is calibrated to go with this. So on the other one, this is 80 miles per hour, so it's going to read incorrectly if you just swap the faces, because you're changing the points. The needle doesn't know anything about that. So still going to be on the hunt to either fix the Stuart Warner one from the period, which has a broken worm gear. These later ones, these cheapies, actually have metal gears as the first gear in there. I don't know if you can see that. And they work really well, and you can lubricate them better. And so in some ways, these are better than the more expensive rebuildable type, whereas a lot of this parts are not necessarily. So sorry, long-winded rambling, but hopefully this is helpful for someone who has a broken one of these and wants to repair it. Got to go find another 80 mile per hour one. And again, one of the dead giveaways between the two, if the screws are right near the needle, that's usually the cheap Japanese one. If they're spaced out along the ring, or you can see Stuart Warner on the bottom, that's the more expensive nicer rebuildable ones, but with a plastic first gear.